welcome to tonight's coaching session. So, what we're gonna do, or what I want to go over, is a phrase from the book that I've been ridiculously listening to over and over every single day on the drive, going to the gym, or whenever I have free time. And the book is called One Good Trade. And there's a lot of nuggets in there that you can pick up and really adopt into your trading habits and routine. And I kind of want to just surface over that, what my takeaways are and how you can also start reading this book or listen to it, whatever you prefer, and start adopting their mentality and their process. So, have you guys read that book? Because I know we recommended it before.
I have about 2 hours left.
2 hours. Okay, right on. Alex, did
What
you?
book is that? What book was it?
One Good Trade by Mike Bellafury. He's
No,
the co-founder of S&B Capital.
no, I have not read that one yet.
Okay. So I'm just restarted it over again. I finished it like a couple days ago and then just restarted again, just to really cement the all the fundamentals on what the book talks about. And it's really hitting home with what we've been preaching, right? We've been preaching about like, being patient, wait for your setup, and just take your profits and don't give back to the market. So, what I want to do is I want to share with you guys what that really entails when it comes to a process. And so I'm going to share my screen here. Hang
Yeah, the one good trade sounds like you, honestly.
on. What's that?
I said one good trade, sounds like when I was listening to it, it seems like everything you talk about pretty much. You
Yeah,
guys sound
yeah.
you guys sound the same.
Well, I'm learning from all these top traders and, you know, the fundamentals of how they got to the top, and I've just been really like, as much as I want to say like I preach it, right? But the challenge is like my action hasn't caught up yet, right? Like I have my routine down, I have the process, the mentality, and I think about this every single day. But when it comes to building your discipline to match your mentality, it's kind of like you guys, every single one of you, you already know what setup to look for. You already know where support and resistance are. You already know how to draw them. You already know how to understand your 10 and 20 SMA indicators, right? We all know that already. But to match your action based on those knowledge is not yet aligned, right? And we're all working towards to align both of those so that way, you can be consistently profitable. Um, the time frame to get those to align is different for everybody, right? Um, it's kind of like when you start building your routine, when you're like playing sports, right? You can swing that bat as many times as you want. You already know how to swing that bat and what your goal is to hit that ball, right? But to really get that routine down, you have to do it over and over and over again. And then from there, you're not even thinking anymore. You just have that muscle memory to swing for the home run, right? It's the same thing with what we're doing right now with one good trade, except we're so emotional when it comes to when the market is like live, right? And the charts are bouncing up and down and it's going fast. Our emotion like blurs out all everything that you've studied so hard for, and everything goes out the window. Next thing you know, you're getting on in a trade that like prematurely not the setup, right? And so I want to go over what that one good trade process looks like with everybody so you guys can really see it, right? So hang on real quick. Let me share my screen.
The author you were talking about is Mike Bellifor.
Yeah,
Bell,
Bella Fury.
okay.
Yeah. So he's the co-founder of S&B Capital. Okay, let me know if you guys can see my screen. And everything what I'm about to talk about goes back to the routine, right? Your the building a habit to be a profitable trader. We went over that the other day. That process aligns with this, but in this particular one is now moving more into the trade itself, right? We have our routine to be as a habit to as an overall process to be a profitable trader. But when it comes to the trade itself, what is your process? Like you're sitting in front of your computer and let's say it's Monday morning, it's 6:25 a.m. and you got 5 minutes before the bell. What is your process to say, I'm going to trade AMC right at the open, or I'm gonna wait till certain levels are hit? What does that look like? And so for me, I want to share that with everybody, what that looks like for me. So I like to look at the 1 hour, as you all know, right? The 1 hour, we can see that this line right here is this is the 200 daily moving average. I just added that on there. And then the purple line is the 200 simple moving average. Okay. The difference is the daily moving average does not change where it's located at, where it's graphed at in any different time frame, right? Because this is the daily. So even if you're on the 1 minute time frame, that 3477, it should still be the same location. Okay, so let's see if we can find it. 34. There we go. 3477. And this is on a 1 minute time frame, right? So as you can see, it does not change regardless of the time frame because that's um, factoring in or just basing off the daily, right? So it's very helpful that we have that grafted because that is a strong indicator to go off of, whether it be a support or resistance. In this case, it's going to be a resistance since AMC is way down here at the $14 level. So I have that identified. So we got a long ways to the 200 daily moving average. And then we have the purple line, which is the 200 simple moving average. The simple moving average is an indicator that follows the different time frame, right? So we're in a 1 hour. So if we draw the line here, that's saying 1671, right, on a 1 hour. If we go into, let's say, the 5 minute, now it's at 1485. 1485, what was the 1 hour? 1671. So we can use that 200 SMA as another strong support and resistance levels based on the time frame that you're looking at, right? So that's one. So I know where my 200s are, okay? And then overall, I have a downtrend uh, pattern here. So in this case, for me, this is a weak stock. So it's been selling off for months, right? A couple weeks. And so I know that any pop into major resistance level, I have a higher probability of winning that trade on the short side versus the upside. So if you were to take the long side on this, you have to pay attention to key support levels, but that's less probable because this stock could completely just keep selling off, right? Our favor is more on the downside. Okay, so that's my process, knowing the 200s where they're at. What is the overall big trend, which is selling off? So I'd rather short AMC than going long, right? And then from there, I'll draw my levels. So let me clear this up again. So from there, I'll draw my levels, right? So there's resistance right here, there's resistance right here in this level, and then I'll get closer and closer to where it's currently at, right? So I know these are levels right here that it could fall into. And then I'll go on the daily to look left further to see, okay, AMC is hanging around this area, right? And we can see it right here. If we draw a line right here, which we can see the top of the support, right? That's so those are support levels. So we know AMC is hanging right here, and this would be a really strong support area. I'll make this solid, possibly even two, and then draw that line. So right now, AMC has a higher probability that this could bounce right here. And if that doesn't bounce right there, my next level of support is right here. So 1225 AMC has a higher probability of bouncing. But remember, this is a dying stock. We know that from several days of sell-off. So these are your levels to go off of. Let's go back to the hour. Okay. So AMC, I want to see it dip down to like 1380 and then watch the level two for the buyers to come in. Okay. If the buyers don't come in, this could really break this low right here and just free fall to the next level, which is 1225. And that's a long ways for AMC. So the probability of it bouncing, since we know that this red line right here is a strong support area, and we know the behavior based on how the support and resistance work is it will always pass through a little bit and then get back above that line. So above 1438, we go long, right? And what that's going to look like too is this 10 and 20 is going to swoop down and come back over. So AMC for above 1438 is a long play. Okay, but it stays below that. It's a short play to the next target, possibly 1225. So that's my process, right? So going back to the concept of one good trade, I just drew out what my game plan is, right? I'm going to buy above 1438 to go long. Possible target is a 200 SMA, 200 SMA, or the next support area or resistance area, which is previous day um, open right here, this line. Okay, so I'll consider these levels as my resistance zone right here and then right here. Okay, that's to the upside. So that's my play. So if none of those present during the trading day, in a perfect reality, I should not be taking those trades, right? If I say one good trade is getting in above the 1438, and then if it flushes below that and I get stopped out, I have to honor my one good trade plan because I said, hey, I'm gonna get in at 1438 and hopefully we move up to 1512 or higher, right? If it flushes below, I get stopped out. I'm not gonna be blaming myself or having a conversation saying, "Oh my God, why did I take that trade? That's so stupid." Like all these mental psychology battle that we go through every single day. I'm gonna be so happy that I took that trade to build that assurance and to build that trust in my setups, right? And repeat that process again. So if I get stopped out, my next entry for a possible dip buy is 1381, and then what we want to see is the level two starts to pick up. We want to see the level two buyers come in, with size. We know that this is the last line of defense. If that breaks, we have 1225 area. Okay. Um, a good trade setup would be if this breaks, I'll just instead of like saying, oh, I'm gonna go short, like I one one strategy I could just like sit out AMC and don't touch it until it gets down to 1225 because if you're already long bias and you flip to short, you could get really chopped up and this stock could reverse on you and then it's just gonna screw up your mentality for the day, right? So one good trade would be setting up or waiting for your setup to present itself. Okay. If it doesn't present itself, you just sit tight and don't take a trade. Now, if you do that over and over and over again, you're going to build that habit of just waiting for your setup. Because at the end of the day, you're looking to trade to make money. You're not trading just to trade. You're not trading to like prove yourself if you can just, get in and out randomly and make money. If you do it randomly, you're gonna have random results, which is you're gonna fall under the 90% of traders that loses because they do random things. Okay, this is why we plan our trades. We know why we're getting in and we know why we're getting out. Okay, so one good trade, you wait for your setup. Okay, following your trade rules, which is stopping out when you need to stop out, right? I always talk about there's you should be drawing a clear line of which side are you trading. If the price action is above a line that you drew out, you're in for the long run. If it's below the line that you drew out, either one, you have to reestablish a short play, or two, you just wait. You don't touch it, right? That's following your rules. And then being patient for your setup is another thing that needs to be worked on. If it doesn't present itself and it just chops, just sit tight, you know. Sitting cash positions with no trade is also a trade, right? That is 100% win rate. When you're sitting on a sideline holding your cash and just not taking a trade because it hasn't presented based on your game plan or based on the setups that you're familiar with, that is a winning trade, just sitting on the sideline. Okay. And then also, another thing that I want to add to really strengthen that one good trade mentality is the trader view journal. I added that into our, where was it? Discussions, under discussions, at the very bottom, just below the memes tab, trading journal. How many of you have already kind of looked at it? And I posted one on there from Friday's trade. How many of you have already checked it out?
I did. I read yours too.
Okay, awesome. So this, again, I'm just following what the top traders are doing, right? They're building their habits and behavior based on what I'm sharing with every single one of you. The trading journal, I think, is very, very important because now you're really starting to take this trading seriously rather than just dabbling into it. Now you're trading it, you're taking it seriously by really documenting your process, really documenting, how did you trade. So for me, as you can see, I put on there, you know, it shows the P&L, which is the trading view. If you sign up, there's like a free version, and then there's also like a $30 version, which is more than plenty. As you can see, it calculates how many trades you took that day, the total volume of your shares. That's how many shares I traded. Okay. The closed P&L is how much pretty much I was walking away with, and then the commissions for that trade. So overall, I was green only $158, and then I did a trade rating. So I'm trying to be honest to myself to say, okay, TJ, how did you do Friday? Like overall, like did you follow your rules? Were you patient? Did you trade your setups? Did you respect your stop losses? All that. I'm rating myself 6 out of 10, and that's okay, but I can identify where I knew it was a short setup or if it was a long setup and I stayed somewhat stubborn. It wasn't as bad of a stubbornness, but I let it go too far. My mindset of saying, oh, I don't want to miss the reversal. I'm just gonna add one more. But then it was a random add versus, okay, the trade is going against me. I'm just gonna sit tight. And at the next level on the upside, I'm gonna double my position. It wasn't like that. It was more of a random ad because the candle just suddenly looked weak, and I just wanted to add because my FOMO was kicking in, saying, "Hey, this could be the flush that you've been waiting for. Now let's add so you don't miss it." So that conversation in my head was more emotional rather than logical process what I've been preaching, right? Either if the trade is against you, size down. That's one. Two, you can completely get out and, just sit tight. Or three, just sit tight with your current position and then be okay for that stock to go against you at a next level of resistance or support. And then add if that is your game plan, right? It wasn't the case. It was more of a random play, adding. and that's why it cost me, having to give back some of my profits. And that's why the trade rating was so poor, 6 out of 10. I'd like to get like a 9 or an 8, right, for the day. I'd be happy with that. But reviewing and internalizing that conversation with me, like it really clarified that, hey, let's not do that again. Let's avoid that kind of mentality. And then now I'm more excited tomorrow, to be honest with you. I'm getting that excitement back of like, yeah, Monday, let's freaking trade, because like this whole week I've been like mentally preparing myself on what I did wrong on Friday, and I'm like, all right, I think I'm ready. Like, okay, I did that trade. I'm not gonna do that. I I feel like I have control of my emotions right now, and I want to test it for Monday, right? With me writing this out, like it got me excited to trade again for Monday. Like I'm more prepared now than the last 2 months. It's crazy, and this is even just a smaller position trade, right? Just trying to warm up with my LLC account, and then also the lesson of the day. Like what did I really learn from that day of trading overall? I was I was so profitable on AMC short, right here. Let's go back to the 5 minute. Make sure I'm still sharing. Okay, go back to the 5 minute. Um, I shorted AMC pretty much at the top here. Let me clear this up so you guys can see. And then let's go back to the time frame. Okay, so you guys can see all the levels right here. Okay, so the levels I shorted was on the 15-minute time frame, shorted against the 20 SMA. All right, and then it broke through a little bit, obviously, but I actually sized up into this resistance, just because again it's below the opening price, which is a weak stock. Now going into a resistance, a 20 SMA resistance, right? And then also on the 1 hour is approaching the 10 SMA, and it's also pointing down. So all of the indicators that we've been studying is all aligning that, hey, this is a short setup right here. So I actually sized up into this trade, and the one thing that I didn't really follow, although if it was a profitable trade, was I you know got out too soon. One was my mentality of like, you know missing out, these could bounce and all that stuff. I did locked in profit into the 200 SMA right here, right? And then I could have gotten back in on the 1 minute time frame, back in when it fell below again into the 10 and 20. But it never broke the 10 and 20 on the 5 minute, which is our golden rule that if it does not reverse above the 10 and 20 on the 5 minute, then you stay in the trade. And this could have been a nice profit for me, like a $4,000 profit. Instead, I only walked away with like, what was it, AMC? It was only like $200. What was it? Yeah, $200 trade. You can see it on my P&L there. So a $200 versus a $4,000. It was just, you know, minuscule. Um, so with that kind of documenting, I can now reevaluate to go, okay, you got out too soon. Your mindset was scarcity versus following the chart patterns, right? Yes, there's nothing wrong with booking profits, but at the end of the day, learning to really stay in the trade because of the bigger chart patterns, reasons, and all the indicators still aligning in your favor, then we need to stay in. Because another thing that we're realizing is we're staying too long on our losing trades, and we're not staying long enough on our winning trades. And we need to flip that mentality that we need to stay in as long as we can in our winning trades so we can book more profits because the trade is already going in our way, and cut the trades that are losing sooner, right? So minimize losses, increase profits. That's what the One Good Trade book really preaches about. And I feel like we have it dialed in. as far as like when to enter, right? And when to exit. And we just need to strengthen that belief by journaling. Okay. So as you can see on my journal, again, um, it's not included on there actually, but down, let me see, switch my screen here. Okay, there we go. All right, so I switch my screen. Okay, so as you can see right there on my screen, you can actually see the trade itself, right here. And with this data, like this really literally clarifies everything I'm doing and how to fine tune it, right? It shows my entry price. Well, let's see, not this one. Let me see. Was it 11? TF DOS. There we go. Oh, I guess it's the same. Okay. So, but it tells you like how long was I in the trade for, all the commissions and fees, and then the size and all that stuff. But this details right here, you can even add on more notes as well, and you can click on each one um, to really get more insight. So let me see. Click on AMC. So here's the AMC trade right here. You can see how many times I got it in and out, right? Entry price, exit price, and so on and so on. This is throughout the whole entire day. Okay. Oh, actually, let me see. There we go. Okay. So this was the trade for Friday. So as you can see, my entry price, my exit price, and whatnot. But this data right here will help you fine tune your trading behavior and how to really, um, you know, improve on it. So with that said, that's pretty much what I got going on right now for making that one good trade, because at the end of the day, every trade that you take, it should be a good trade, right? But before you take that trade, are you following your process to make it a good trade? Or is it to you, is it just a random entry, right? Is it a random entry? If it's not a random entry, then you have to just allow it to materialize. If it doesn't go your way, then just get out. Okay, and that's one good trade. Even a losing trade is still one good trade, is because you followed your process, you followed your rules, and by repeating that, that's gonna make you trust in yourself and believe in your process, because we know that it's a profitable process and strategy. Okay, until it's not profitable, then you can change. All right, is that making sense?
Yeah, it does. So a lot of back testing as well, I'm hearing.
Yeah, definitely. So backtesting is definitely a routine routine habit that should be like practiced every day. So with that said, I want to hear what you guys got to say about the trader view, or how many of you have checked it out, and is the process that I've shared with you guys working for you, or are you struggling to try to piece it together? So, Alex, what you got?
Yeah, we talked about it, I think Friday. You told me to get onto this. I said, um, I looked into it, but I'm journaling right now on my paper.
Hmm.
I have something going on, something actually moving, progressing. So I'm gonna
Nice.
stick to my actual physical journaling. I do exactly what you're typing in.
Hmm.
My all my stocks I traded. I don't have it more detailed like the data trader view has,
Hmm.
but I write down everything my P&L, and I always write what can I improve on. So far, I wanna I'm so kind of focused on, let me build this consistency right now what I'm doing
Hmm.
until I implement. new new data, new technology
Okay.
into my trading.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, as long as it's working and you're seeing progress on it, stick with it. Um, but do keep in mind to just look into this because this is more in depth. It can literally tell you down to the minutes and the seconds and like what time frame are you good at trading and what time of the day are you starting to lose, like down to the minutes. Like it can tell you that much.
Okay.
So, okay. All right, anybody else? Is the 10 and 20 working out for you? Are you applying it? And how is it working for you and whatnot?
No, 10 and 20 is good because now I don't see indication taking a trade. And if I'm like wanting to FOMO because on the 1 minute it spiked up fast, I immediately look on all my graphs, time frames on that stock. I'm like, okay, there's no indication to get in long. It was just one random spike.
Hmm.
So, dude, that thing is so reliable.
Good, good, good. DTF Minion, what you been using, bro?
Hey, what's up, guys? I just been sticking to the 9 EMA, 21 EMA like I've been doing in the past. In terms of the journaling, like Alex, I just been tracking on an Excel sheet. But probably be looking into what you share there because what I don't have is I track my trades, but I just track where I enter and where I exit and just see whether I had a red or a green day or profitability. So it doesn't really give me that breakdown, that level of detail of, like, am I consistent in the morning and then inconsistent in the afternoon or vice versa. So seems like that program will be beneficial there. But I mean, what you just shared through this conversation is exactly where I'm at right now. Is I tend to still be very stubborn when the trade goes against me, and then when it does go my way, I always think back to the trade that went against me, and then I take profit, and then it keeps going like Friday, like Thursday and Friday. I think I was green 25, 26%, but both days had I just stuck with my trades, it just trading four contracts would have netted like over 5 grand in just those 2 days. But I was up almost $700, and
Hmm.
so it's just dealing with that. I think it's all a mental thing for me, like you said, just trusting the read, not getting faked out, and sticking to what I'm seeing. Obviously, it's a lot easier said than done because I've been struggling with that the past 2 or 3 months. I'll
Hmm.
have phases where I have consistency, but again, it's like in that 25, 30% zone. If I try to go break higher than that, it typically ends up like going against me the other way, and then I just get stubborn at that point. So
Right, right. Okay. Yeah, that's it's constant improvement and having to really focus on like what you said, staying on a losing trade too long is an emotional trigger, right? And we all go through it. And I think I'm improving pretty well on cutting my losses and stop getting stopped out and being okay with it. But it does trigger my mentality side of like, is this am I gonna miss a trade? Am I gonna miss the reversal? Like that conversation in your head, that's when you tell yourself, hey, stop out, and then followed by don't stop out because this could reverse fast and you're gonna miss it. That's
exactly,
literally the conversation, and it's like,
exactly,
yeah, you gotta shut the other person out, the other voice that's saying you could miss the reversal right here, that here is gonna happen. Don't stop out yet. So let the other voice win of saying, hey, this is your stop level that you said you were gonna get out. So let's just get out. You can always get back in, right? It's
Yeah.
safer to protect your capital than letting it play, the hold and hope strategy.
And the one thing that I kind of recognize too, and I've been going back and forth with this, is I, I feel like I shouldn't be trading every day because it seems like if I just watch for the setup, it, at least for Tesla that I've been watching the last 2 or 3 weeks, if I just watch what it does at the beginning of the week and then trade either midweek or towards Thursday or Friday, like I may have a better read, but when I'm there and watching it during the day, I'm just like, if I sometimes it's almost like over trading. I'm only trading 1 or 2 trades a day, but it's almost like over trading if I'm there at 6:30 and then by 9 I haven't made a move. I'm like, it bothers me. And then at that point, like sometimes I'll be honest, I jump in just because I want to be a part of like the action there. And then at that point, I'm essentially forcing trades. So practicing the patience is another piece that I continue to struggle for me
Hmm.
personally. And I definitely get the cutting the losses and then just waiting for another trade. I've been sizing down to like 1,500 or a couple thousand. So when I trade Tesla, you know, I think part of what makes me stubborn is if I'm in a trade and I cut, I know that I only have one other play left. So I end up being like, well, Tesla's typically has a wide range. Let me just sit it out, like sit on it and see if it reverses. But then, it goes back to your point of at that point, it's just holding and hoping and not really trading based on your charts anymore. So
Yeah,
I
it's
struggle
it's no
back and
longer a
forth with
setup.
that.
It's no
Yeah.
longer a setup. You're just randomly holding and hoping that it goes your way, and it becomes more of a non-setup strategy. So, okay.
It's like going to the gym. I know what I need to be doing, but am I am I doing what I
Yeah,
need to
right.
be doing?
Yeah. You want big arms, and then you're not doing curls and push-ups. You're over there like running a treadmill.
Exactly. So it's just like a discipline thing and a mental thing for me.
Yep. Right on, man. Yeah, it's a work in progress, and what I always say is, everybody, like, if you're here right now and you really truly believe that you want to make trading your success and be good at it and be profitable, like, it's gonna take time. It's gonna take time to be consistent, to follow your rules, to build that habit that you can really trust and live by. It's gonna take time, but you gotta do this every single day. Every single day. Like, you cannot be a professional trader if you don't show up to practice. You cannot be a professional football player if you don't show up to practice. Or any other sports that you know of. Like, any sports or team that you follow, just imagine if you have, like, you're a big fan of, like, let's say Russell Wilson for the Seahawks, right? I don't really follow football, but I'm going to use that as an example. If you like Russell Wilson and he suddenly doesn't want to show up for practice anymore, and he starts sucking at every game, but like, but then they, like, ask you to go buy his jersey still or support the team. Like, how are you gonna feel? You're gonna be like, heck no, he's not even showing up for practice. That's why they're losing. That's why they're sucking. Now putting that feedback to go, no, I don't want to support that guy anymore because he doesn't show up for practice, or he shows up drunk or late or whatever, right? It's the same thing here on your trading career. If you don't show up for practice, you don't study the plays, you have to be the fan of yourself to go, dude, you're not doing the work. Like, I don't I don't you're not gonna make any money. And being honest like that, it's gonna make you realize, what you're really doing. Like, I look at myself every day. If I'm not studying about trading, if I'm not looking and watching some trading videos on YouTube, or listening to trading books, or listening to trading podcasts, and I'm watching, like, some useless funny videos on social media, like, my mind literally triggers to go, all right, stop scrolling and go study freaking trading. Now you're just wasting time that doesn't benefit your future. So hopefully you can have that same conversation with yourself when you know you're supposed to be learning and mastering your trading instead of wasting it on some other content. That makes sense? So I really want to drive home that mentality. And if it gets through your head, great. If you don't apply it, you're gonna see why. And that's the best thing I can share with you guys. I practice everything that I've been sharing with everybody. I think Alex is showing up here every day and been applying the same thing, and he's starting to see things click together. And it's gonna be a different time frame for everybody, but you have to show up. Show up. All right. Any questions, guys, before we take off? I got nothing else to cover for tonight, but besides that,
So thinking back and looking back right now on the whole time frame that I have actually lost, and why am I now? Why is everything clicking now? So I and me and my wife she pointed it out. Me approaching the stock market right away. I wanted to hit the fences right away. I wanted big money because all these girls they showed they're all in these Ferraris. They have millions of dollars. They're making a lot of money every single day, and I'm like, dude, yeah, I can do that too.
hmm
So I came in with the wrong mentality. I came in with obviously I had money, and so I just kept on beating the market, and I was losing, losing, losing because I wanted to make a lot of money right away. And so that's why I didn't listen to you. I didn't listen to a lot of people that say paper trade. Paper trading is one of the best things you can do. Yes, you don't have the feelings with like with real money, but with paper trading, you want to understand the fundamentals, understand and see everything start clicking together before you put your real money on the line. So paper trade because you're going to be going through all this emotional and uh, figuring out what works, finding your edge. So then when you do find your edge, then you go ahead and start playing with real money because now everything's starting to click. You're seeing profits every day on paper trading and then convert back. That's what I should have done. Hard. I learned the hard way, um, but still not giving up, and I'm gonna move forward. But it's finally clicking. But it took me almost a year, to get to this stage
there you go. There you go. So it's proof it works. You got to show up.
with the right mentality. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Anybody want to add on to that?
Can I ask a question, TJ, about application?
Yeah.
So you're scalping, like, well, from watching you, you're scalping for like you know a lot of equities and like really fast. Well, for me, I'm trying to do options for like $1, $2 moves, and so like I'm having difficulties applying the twos. Almost seems like it's too kind of differ. So I'm working on trying to find an edge that will work for me in my options trading.
Yes.
And
Yeah, so the process is the same, right? Like I'm in and out. I'm in and out within like candles. And so in this case, like if you look at if you look at the 1 minute here, like I can trade, the ups and the downs, right? But overall, you have to look at the bigger time frame when you draw out your support and resistance, right? So if you're saying you're gonna enter, let's see, let's switch back to AMC. So knowing that AMC that you're gonna, let's say you're gonna take a put, right? If you take a put right at the open, right, and the 10 and 20 doesn't break to the upside, you stay in that trade. That's that's a pattern that we follow. But for me as a scalper, like I can get in right here, get out right there, and then reshort again on the top, and then come out right here. Like it's the same strategy except like my strategy is scalping, so therefore I'm in and out, right? You as an option trader, you look at the bigger pattern. You're like, okay, this is a short below the 10 and 20 on the 5 minute, and don't get out until right here, right? Until it breaches the 20 SMA. It's the same pattern that we follow. It's just a different hold time. Okay. You could reshort right here. Like you could say, why reshort right there? You look at the different time frame, you can see it right into the 15 minute into the 20 SMA right here. and you can say, all right, I'm gonna stay on that trade again until it breaches the 20 SMA on the 5 minute. If it doesn't, I'm gonna stay short. So you can see it right here again on the 5 minute. You're in that same trade. In this up and down section right here, like I could be in and out of this trades like 10 times already, right? But for you, you set your own rules to go, all right, I'm gonna get in short right here based on the 20 SMA resistance on the 15, and I'm not gonna bail out of my trade until it breaches the 20 SMA to the upside. That's the same pattern that we've been preaching about, right? We're both on the same trade. I'm scalping the stocks, and you're in an option trade with AMC to go puts. It's the same thing. So I guess what I'm trying to say is understand what your process is based on everything that you've learned already from what I've been telling you, right? Apply the 10 and 20 strategies. Apply respecting the 200 SMAs, right? If you still don't understand how to piece those together, then you have to either go to the paper account and trade paper and start implementing this and start crafting your process, right? You have to craft your process based on what you have learned, right? I can't have you follow my trades because now you're option trading still and I'm scalping stocks. The fundamentals still the same, right? So you have to sit down and be honest to yourself. What is your process based on what you've learned from the 10 and 20 SMA? Once you have determined those process for yourself, not for me, not because TJ is scalping in and out 10 times, but what is your process and you stick to that and you test those out yourself and build a track record to go, oh, this worked, 8 out of 10 times. This worked 6 out of 10 times. Whatever it is, have that data in front of you and then repeat it, fine tune it. And then from there you go, all right, the 10 and 20 indicators that TJ is using is working also with the options. And I know it works with the options. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. So write down your process. What is your process of why you're getting in and why you're getting out based on everything I'm sharing it with you right here. This chart pattern right here or this setup can improve your trading if you know how to, you know, um, put the pieces together and you have followed your game plan. Okay. Cool. Anybody else want to add on? Questions?
I have nothing else to add other than really just it's glad to be back with the group. It's definitely helpful to just rehear the information over and over again. I've kind of been away for a couple of weeks, but definitely miss being with the group. You guys, especially you, TJ, provide great information. So appreciate you always making time.
Yep. Thank you guys. Thank you always. And
Hey,
so let's prepare for tomorrow. Review your charts and start building your process. Really put down your process in a paper if old school style works for you. What is step number one? Step number two? However many steps that you have to write down, right? To say I am getting in this trade or I'm getting out of this trade. So write down how many steps you have to do to get in the trade and how many steps you have to do to get out of a trade. When I say steps, what is the signs and the signals that tells you to get in and what is the signs and the signals that tells you to get out? Once you have those written down, follow those and you'll start to see data and results and then you fine tune from that. All right?
are you still looking
Yeah,
at
one
the
thing that I
tape?
just want to go ahead.
TJ, are you still looking at the tape, or are you just looking at level 2?
I'm looking at the level 2. Level 2 is the bid and ask um, ladder.
Yep.
Yep.
One thing that I just want to add also is that I think what I've gotten the most out of is when I go back and I start reviewing like my trades and stuff like that, which I feel like I don't do enough. So I need to kind of like actually gonna look into the trader view thing because I think that's where I get so much out of it. I don't know why I don't do it more. But I like what you said the other day too, just like doubling down on just like studying and like reviewing, past trades and stuff. I think will it starts to like click, and then hearing it over and over again just really helps. So I appreciate it, TJ.
Yep, no problem. Cool, guys. Well, thanks again for tuning in and staying committed, and let's get ready for tomorrow.
Good night.
All right,
Let's
have a good night,
go.
everybody. See you tomorrow.